They want to do stuff that affects other people negatively. Okay, the guy with the cardboard box in his car, maybe just couldn't be bothered to take it home and put it in the bin. Get it out of the car as quick as possible, out the window. I can't see it now, I've forgotten about it. Horrible cretin, if you ask me. And they've got me thinking about things like chewing gum, for instance. People chewing gum. I will get to the point, so keep watching. People chewing gum and chucking it on the pavement, what have you. Knowing full well that somebody will come along and walk in it and carry it elsewhere, maybe into their own homes, trudging it into, grinding it into their own carpets. And you might not think so, but it is a major issue, chewing gum. Now, in Singapore, for instance, I think it's banned in Singapore, actually, chewing gum is. For that reason. Now, when I was working for the old council and what have you, we would, contracting for the council, yeah. We'd collect chewing gum off pavements. You know, I mean, the worst things, not necessarily the tarmac, was the paving slabs and whatever, the old council slabs. They're like 3x3 feet. What been great flipping things? They're 2x2s, sorry. They're 2x2s or 2x3s, and they're about 2 inches thick. So big old pressed concrete slabs. And you stick to them, it did. Yeah, they're a little bit of a lumpy surface. You can't just put a scraper on and scrape it off. No. We used to freeze them. Yeah, at all. We used to freeze the chewing gum. And then it'd go all brittle and you can basically hit it with a hammer and just brush off almost. That's what we used to do. That got me thinking about other stuff as well. How come when you walk down the road, maybe in the countryside or something, and you see there's a wall with a hole in it, you think, maybe there's an animal in there or something, and what's in there? Well, rubbish. Someone's decided to put rubbish in it. Now, here in France, for instance, you might get people with a tube in the wall where they would have, where the publicity would be put into and stuff like that. And you get in the hole, and someone's put an old carrier bag of crap in it, or an empty packet that they're finished with. Why do people do that? Sociopathy, selfish people. They go to the toilet. There's the male and there's the female toilet. There's unisex. Maybe gender neutral or whatever. And it's a toilet. You go in there. Somebody before you has decided to pee all over the flipping toilet seat. The likelihood is you might want to sit on it. You get pee on your butt. Why do people do that? Is it really that difficult to lift the toilet seat? If you didn't want to touch the toilet seat, why didn't you just get a bit of toilet paper or use your shoe or something and lift the toilet seat or whatever? Don't piss all over it. I'm sorry. It sounds vulgar, I know, but it's true. It's you must have come across it yourself. Leave it in the comments down below. Well, I just find it it's just amazing how people's minds work. And also it's got me thinking as well, why do people actually do stuff like that? Why do people vote for Brexit, knowing full well it will hurt other people? Why would you do that? We've got no benefits of Brexit, have we? No. There ain't any. There's never going to be any for those in the UK, that is. Maybe Northern Ireland to touch. But it's just like sociopathic reaction to maybe something that's happened in their lives before. That's kind of what got me thinking. I know there's lots of analysis out there saying, why do people vote for Brexit? I think it's deeper than that. I don't think it's just about sovereignty. No, I don't. I think it's about harming or hurting others. I think it's about stopping brown faces coming in. People who don't speak English. Oh, shocking. They get in their groups and they speak Polish to each other. Oh, shocking. Don't mean to say they can't speak English. They just, they're not conventional, not mindset, maybe. Maybe that is a problem. I don't know. I don't think it's a problem for me. I'm not worried. It doesn't bother me. I feel that a multicultural society is a benefit to everybody. Keep you open-minded to other cultures and ways of life. Experience different foods. After all, we do like a curry, don't we, us Brits? Although, really, the curries you get in the UK are not really proper curries. No. After all, chicken tikka is a British curry. But why do people do it? That got me thinking, is it to do with maybe, I'll put it out there now, some form of childhood trauma? Have these people been abused? Yeah, abuse comes in many forms, growing up and what have you. Were they abused? It makes me wonder. Something terrible happened in their lives to make them so angry and hateful, resentful. They tell us about the good old days. There was nothing good about them. People had rickets, malnutrition. Families were really suffering back then, and there was very little help for them. Very little. You might have had family allowance while I was growing up, what have you, But there was no family credit or tax credits or anything like that. Very little help available. Very little help indeed. But the cost of living was much, much lower in relationship to your income. The price of a home and the rents were tiny in comparison. Even when you factor in inflation, more so even if you factor in inflation, the cost of everything is just out of the reach of everybody. So we're looking for somebody to blame. Push back against others or the other, whether it be people of other race or creed or the Turkish. Just crazy. It's the same old angry people. You tell me of a happy Brexiter. People aren't angry with their Brexit. And I'm not talking about Alexander Boris de Fethel Johnson. He wasn't a Brexiter. No. He's an opportunist. Big difference. Massive difference. He's a narcissist. He was looking after his own needs, wasn't he? Yeah. The thing is, these people, they're not satisfied with their Brexit, and that anger persists. You look at Tice. He's angry. Look at Dan Hannan. He's angry. Look at Ben Habib. Oh my Gideon, he's about to explode. And then you got Anne Widdecombe. She's a right bear, she is, yeah. Still go on about Brexit and saying, it's not that Brexit is a failure. It's how we've implemented Brexit is a failure. They're angry people, and they're not satisfied with their Brexit. See, the thing is about, I suppose, sociopathic reaction, revenge. It never fulfills, You have a moment of glee. But the thing that hurt you in the first place is still there. I could go to Nigel Farage and throw those milkshakes over him. It's a photo op. I don't know. And I get a moment of happiness, joy. Hey, look what I did. Yeah, but when it comes down to it, the damage is still there. I could still be suffering from Brexit, just like you guys and girls would be. It's just revenge, you see. Anger, hate. Oh my God, I'm going to do that quote from Yoda. No, don't do it. Fear leads to hate and anger. Oh, anyway, I can't remember what it is now. But yeah, you tell me. Leave it in the comments down below. But it's just, it's absolutely maddening. The damage that's been caused by these sociopathic individuals that seem to be longing for the good old days. But when it comes down to it, really, the good old days weren't that great. And their lives for themselves was shit. Now, for instance, I've got memories of my past, what have you. Okay, I woke up. I hope I woke up anyway. Now, I've told you about my father before and how he voted for Brexit and he believed in Nigel Farage and what have you. And I don't know what he'd be thinking now because he died shortly after Brexit. Literally about 2 months after the vote. How do you feel about it now? Would he be satisfied? Would he think maybe I've been lied to? Probably not, because he's an arrogant man. And that was my father. I remember growing up as a kid. And I was about, 5 or 6 years. I can't remember how old I was. He asked me a question. A simple question. How do you spell it then? He goes. And I froze, because the arrogance and the anger, I knew my dad's like, he wasn't a violent man, but he was an angry man. And I just froze. was only a top, and I just froze. Obviously, I knew how to spell it. It's 2 letters, But it was his approach. I would say he was an educated man, but he was an uneducated man. He had no idea about other people. Empathy, that's it, that's the word I'm looking for, empathy. He had very little empathy for others. Unless it was people who were on a tall ship, what have you, got killed by cannonballs like 300 years ago or something. That was what he was reciting on his deathbed. It was bizarre. Honestly, it was bizarre. But he was a strange man. He really was. But it was the way he went through life was cruel. It was almost like he's trying to inflict his own pain onto others. If I'm unhappy, you've got to be unhappy too. That kind of thing. That's what it felt like to me. And that's pretty much like that all the way through, growing up. Me and my dear sisters, what have you, we, like I said, my dad wasn't an aggressive man, but he was an angry man. He'd wake up in the morning and punch doors and stuff like that. That's no way to bring your kids up. No. And many of us will push back against that kind of behaviour. I think I did. To be honest with my family, I never really agreed with my father, though. Now, he's always voted Conservative over the years. I didn't. I pushed back. But many people, they do what their parents do, and I find that a problem. I think that's one of the reasons we are here in this situation that we're in now, is that we're not thinking for ourselves necessarily. Not everybody, no. Too many people allow themselves to be moulded, indoctrinated by others. And that's a problem. I also feel that there's a little bit of that person who's trying to indoctrinate you, in you, for that to actually work on you. If they're using hate, keep out the immigrants and what have you. Push back the boats, let them drown, that kind of thing. Well then, I would say that's has to be a little bit there in the first place. The seed, effectively. That hate. Well, it's my thoughts anyway on it. I find it a little bit difficult for those who are telling me that, not just telling me, but actually, you see with various articles at the moment where people are regretting their Brexit, and they say they've been lied to. I'm sorry you believed it, and you wanted it. That means it was there, inside you. There's something rotten inside Brexiters. Yes, I do say that many of them are racists and xenophobes. Really do. A form of selfishness, narcissism, sociopathy. Am I right on that? I don't know. You tell me. Well, I need to leave it in the comments down below, because I do actually read the comments, I do. As you probably already know. And it's getting me thinking, it is. It really is getting me thinking. I'm just sitting here and just contemplating about stuff. But share your thoughts, like I say, leave it in the comments down below. I think there's a lot of us about an era of a generation of people seem to have this element of hate inside. There's festering, and it's eating them up inside. I really do. Now, apart from the fact that we've got this Brexit and that, I am still hopeful in many ways, because I don't see that hate in our children. I don't. I see more love than hate in children these days, to be honest. And I think that's down to more modern parenting in many ways. Not recent, because just the parents they haven't got time to look after their children because they're just working all the while. That's another problem. That's going to affect the next generation. So maybe I should. Oh, okay. That's a worry, isn't it? But I think when we were bringing our kids, we spent a lot of time with our kids, you see. You know. We made time for them. And it's so important. Stick them all in the nursery all the time, you know, and you bring them home, you feed them, you put them to bed, and then they'll, rinse and repeat for the following day, the day after that. And then you're doing shift work and finally you have to work on Saturdays and Sundays. The time when you are off, the kids are at school. I think it's a problem. We need a major reset. We need to pull back from this work. It's not necessarily just a recent thing. My dear wife, her mother, all she cared about was her job. It was. Her work came first. She loved the kids. I'm not going to say she didn't, she did. But it was always about the work. Everything was about her job. When she looked after a boatyard in Thorpe, there was Hart's Cruises on River Green. Oh, it's on the island actually, on the other side of the river on the River Green. It's taken. You've got to make time for your family, you've got to make time for your kids. That's what I say anyway. Really have got to. You've got to find time. And if you can't do it, you need to change your life. You need to make some major changes in your life. You really do. Because your kids and your family must come first. And you've got to make time for them. You really have. And I'm not talking about, your uncles and your aunts and stuff like that necessarily. It's got to start here. And then it moves on to your children and your spouse or whatever. Your partner. Whatever. You've got to make time. You really have. Anyway, that's what I think anyway. You tell me what you think. Please leave it in the comments down below. It's enough of my ramble. Ta-ta. And have a lovely day. Don't forget, boot the old like button. Ta-ta.